Hello everyone and welcome to WWE Discussion. In today's episode, I'm going to be discussing the Monday Night Raw, the December 4th, 2023 edition, an edition of Raw headlined by a world title match, Seth Rollins defending against Jey Uso. And with that, we're going to go ahead and get right into the action, starting with Drew McIntyre, who might be Raw's most compelling character. I think there's an argument to be made that, yeah, he is Raw's most compelling character. So Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn started off the show hot and set a tone that defined the rest of the night. A fiery promo turned into a passionate performance, a fiery promo became a passionate performance in the ring that solidified what makes the Scottish Warrior special. In an era of WWE defined by staples, McIntyre's made the most of his own history with various groups to elevate his status. It is hard to tell what the Scot will do next. He has set his sights on Seth Rollins and Jey Uso, but how far will he go? With that, how long does the story on Jey Uso drag out? When does he get another world title match? Does he actually win it? So yeah, he's got a couple opponents in mind, but again, the big question is how far can you go with that? He could still join Judgment Day. Not the greatest idea, but it's an option. He could find new allies to support his cause. Again, not the greatest idea. He does his best work solo, but it is an option. He could reach for new depths in his action alone and seeking gold. Probably his best bet right there. All that matters is that each week McIntyre makes the most of the moment. He is the centerpiece of Raw's best storytelling right now. Shinsuke Nakamura. So unfortunately, he has reached a status where basically anytime a top good guy needs a opponent, insert Shinsuke Nakamura, filler feud. Case in point, Nakamura versus Cody Rhodes, and neither of those guys, Rhodes and Nakamura, can afford a loss. The American Nightmare is still on the rise, headed for a likely rematch with Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40. The Artist is coming off multiple losses to Seth Rollins, but has been building up momentum recently with wins over Ricochet and Chad Gable, but unfortunately putting him one-on-one with Rhodes, and he has no chance of winning. While Nakamura's promos are impactful, he cannot keep talking the big game and then losing to the top names that he calls out. He is becoming a filler feud for other people rather than building his own legacy. At another time, Rhodes versus Nakamura would be a top star in Raw, but there's just too much happening right now for that to have much of an impact. The match on next week's Raw should be a one and done sort of deal for these two. After WrestleMania, this is something maybe you could revisit after Mania when Rhodes' story is cleared up and Nakamura has built a bit more credibility, but again, that's contingent on Nakamura building up more credibility. And Nia Jax, feud with Becky Lynch could help her rewrite her legacy. So the WWE Universe had a mixed reaction to Nia Jax's return, maybe more negative than positive, but go ahead and classify it as mixed. While she has never been a major fan favorite, she certainly did lose some fans at the end of her first WWE run. And after she got released, she didn't take any bookings until she got re-signed, yet she has looked better in the ring since her return. Her recent match with Raquel Rodriguez was a physical encounter, and she put together another strong contest with Shayna Baszler on Raw this past Monday. While the eventual goal is probably a battle of Rhea Ripley, it looks like Jax vs. Lynch is the next story. An inadvertent punch by the Irresistible Force in 2018 sparked the man's rise to stardom, but the two never really got a chance to pay off that story in the ring. So it looks like WWE is going back to it. Lynch has worked the most impressive run of her career recently, and Jax has put on some of her best matches since her return while working a safer style. This has been a long time coming, and it's time for Jax to show that WWE's trust in her is warranted and solidify herself as a reliable name in the women's division. Jey Uso has his best singles match yet against Seth Rollins, pushing him to the limit, and on a night of great wrestling from open to close, Jey Uso delivered match of the night, or performance of the night. While the 38-year-old has had many great contests alongside his twin brother Jimmy in tag action, Monday night was by far his best work as a solo star. He pushed Seth Rollins to the limit, especially down the stretch. Uso saw the possibility that he could win. That was despite the near certainty that he wasn't, as pretty much I think we're all kind of expecting CM Punk and Seth Rollins to clash over the world title, and that doesn't happen with Uso winning. Granted, you could still probably do Rollins vs. Punk without the world title, but it seems like for all intents and purposes they want to do it with the world title on the line. Hopefully though, WWE will find the ways to continue to use Uso as a main event talent. No point in calling him main event Uso if he's not a main event, not being treated like a main event talent, as he has proved his worth on that front and could be a dark horse challenger in the Men's Royal Rumble match. In conclusion, this week's Raw only had 6 matches across 3 hours, but since most of them were good performances, it led to a pretty decent show. The Creed Brothers vs. Dom and McDonough and Zayn vs. McIntyre were definite highlights, but match of the night goes to Rollins vs. Uso. McIntyre has his sights set on both Uso and the World Heavyweight title, so it looks like he's going to be the big bat on Raw moving forward, which is the best place for him to be right now. WWE has had the Judgment Day and the Bloodline doing a lot of heavy lifting on both brands over the past years, so having a solo act like the Scottish Warrior is not only going to give more depth to the villain side of the roster, but also create a nice little change of pace rather than just one group dominating everything. You have one guy just kind of running through the competition. Some of the backstage segments were filler, which to be expected, but the majority of what was included on Monday's show did a good job of highlighting the current storylines. And with that will conclude this episode of the Discussion. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below.